Hi, hello, and welcome to the first episode of the WIPs and Whimsy podcast. My name is Zenith, my pronouns are they, them, and I'm happy you're here. Today is Thursday, March 20th, 2025. It is Ostara, so if that is a holiday you celebrate, happy Ostara, happy first day of spring. It's a wonderful spring day here. The birds are singing outside for like the first time in months. It's fantastic. I should probably mention I live in the Boston area, so it's been a long winter for us, but we've come through. We're doing all right, which is pretty awesome. Again, yeah, this is the opening episode. Thanks so much for being here. This is a place that I'm creating just to talk about all the things that I'm knitting, all the things that I've been working on. There might be some other things that pop up. I'm trying to get into polymer clay as well, but knitting has been my staple craft for almost 20 years. I started knitting when I was 10. So, and I've been like consistently knitting ever since. Like it's been 2 whole decades now. I'm getting old. And yeah, I just wanted to be able to share it with everyone. So if you're interested, hang out with me. Let's do this thing. Just as a little bit about me, like as I said, I've been knitting for 20 years. I've worked in various craft stores. I've worked in independent yarn shops. I've worked in Michael's. I currently right now work in a factory, which works really well for me. I don't love mixing my hobbies with capitalism, like, which I feel like is a weird thing to say when you're starting a podcast, but like, this isn't monetized. This is me talking to a screen to be like, hey, look, I made a sock. So there's that. Anyway, we're going so unscripted today. I hope y'all don't mind. I hope you're here for like just the real moments involved with being a knitter. Like, right? Like, I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be myself. Because that's all that you can be. I've been knitting for 20 years. I knit Portuguese style, which is very different from like, the standard English or continental style. What it means is that I use a necklace. This necklace here, you will always see me wearing it. If I'm not wearing it, something has gone very wrong. Ask me if I'm okay. And you see there's a little hook attached at the bottom there. And the hook holds the tension of the yarn. So you tension the yarn by holding it over your ring finger. It goes through the hook. It goes back down to your working like project. And then you just thumb it. You just use your thumb and you flick it, which is really, really convenient. I have wrist problems and I find that's really helpful for me. I also, when you knit Portuguese style, purling is easier than knitting. So when I knit, I invert all of my patterns and basically knit them inside out. I do purling instead of knitting whenever I'm doing stockinette or garter stitch. So, hi, I'm your chaos gremlin if you have not picked that up yet. I think it's pretty obvious, but just in case. I mostly knit socks. I also knit tons of tiny pigs. This has been a hobby that this is a habit I picked up in 2025 that I get home from work and like as a way to decompress, I just take half an hour and some scrap yarn and I just cozy up in my bed and I like put on my electric blanket and I just knit a tiny pig that's like 18 stitches around total and is filled with like 2 cotton balls and I'm like, there's good in the world. There's tiny pigs. So you will see a lot of tiny creatures. I do other amigurumi as well, but I have the pig pattern memorized, and so I make a lot of pigs. I do not like to do projects that are super hard because this is a hobby and this is a way for me to decompress, and this is what I do with my hands when I'm trying to watch TV. My running joke with knitting is that I was just born before the age of fidget spinners. And so my mom instead was like, here's 2 sticks and some string, leave me alone. And the rest is history. So again, it's a fidgety thing for me. Yeah, so that's like why I knit. That's what I do. Other things that I do, I love watching sports. I'm really into La Liga. I'm really into WNBA. Connecticut Sun is my team. I also recently got into the PWHL, which is the Professional Women's Hockey League. They just started last year. They're on their 2nd season. Boston has a team, so like go Boston Fleet, let's go. That's my jam. I love to watch sports and knit because being cozy instead of like yelling at a screen drinking beer, that's my vibe. Like, that's the vibe. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about some knitting. the first thing I want to do is a section we're calling the Pig Parade, and it's all the pigs I've made recently. So, brace yourself for something really stupid. It's a pig. Behold, this is the Chester the Pig pattern by Apocalypse Knits. It is like a blog spot post from 15 years ago. It's a DK weight yarn on a size 3 needle. This particular yarn is Tea Rose Heather in Knit Picks palette. And I use it just for pigs because I don't wear a whole lot of pink. I like to wear black. That's kind of my vibe. But anyway, yeah, I made this pig on Monday. This little piggy is going to go into my stockpile. I don't have it over here, but I stole a cookie tin from my roommate last Christmas because someone gave her Christmas cookies and ate them. And I said, I need that. And then I put pigs inside them. And eventually sometimes I just pig bomb people, and it's great. The next piggy that I made is made with a random color of like a Stroll mini skein from Knit Picks. I've been working with a lot of Knit Picks lately. I don't always. I want to clarify. I have tons of indie dyed yarn, but not right now. Right now I'm on a Knit Picks kick. But this one is nice and red and purple. And this one is going to go to my favorite cousin, Jack. Today is Jack's birthday. Happy birthday, Jack. If you're watching this, I love you. You're the best. Hope you had a great day. Say hi to your mom. And this is one of the heel colors from one of Jack's pairs of socks that I made for them that I'm going to send out this weekend, I promise. Yeah, I wanted to make matching pigs to go with the socks, so I did that. I've made Jack 2 pairs of socks, and so yesterday I finished the second pair of socks, and then I obviously had to make a pig to go with it. In fact, I made the pig before I finished the socks because I got through the main color, cut it to switch to the toe color, and then said I can make a pig now. So this is the Sanderson colorway from the Felici line from Knit Picks. And it's a striped yarn, so it's like marled throughout. You can see it looks like it has little pants on. And I love it so much. It's just so stupid. It's such a little piggy. And I also love that it just happened to only be marled for the lips and then the little butt. This is a good pig. That's a 10 out of 10 pig right there. And then the last piggy I have, this one has 2 heads. It has 2 heads. And this is gonna go to one of my coworkers. I work in a factory. I work in materials in a factory. I handle logistics. I move parts around all day. I move pallet jacks and stuff. My coworkers, they're manly men, and they're always confused why I'm knitting. And then I show up with tiny pigs, and they're like, "This is the best day of my life." And I'm like, "I know." Welcome. So this is going to one of my coworkers because he already has one that is tie-dye. And we were talking the other day, and I was like, "You don't even know this, but I can make 2-headed pigs." And he was like, and I said, "I'm going to make an alien 2-headed pig." And he said, "Can I have it?" And I said, "Yes." Yes, I will give it to you. So this color is Knit Picks Stroll Key Lime Heather, which I believe is discontinued, and which makes me very sad because it is my favorite color ever. It's not showing up properly on the screen, but it is a neon mint color. And I'm obsessed with it, and I want all the things in it. I want a full sweater in it. I want gloves and a hat and a cowl and socks and a sweater, all in this stupid color. Because it's just so ridiculous. I want pants in this color. It's discontinued, and that's a crime. This is one of my indie dyed yarns. This is from Blue Barn Fiber, which is my favorite indie dyer. This is on the squishy sock base. It's Crazy Alien Plant Lady. And I use this because it was a scrap yarn. I made the Ripple Bralette by Jessie Mead. Made? It's either Made or Mead. It's spelled M-A-E-D. And I love it. I wear it all summer long, especially at home. But I had leftover yarn, so I was like, I'm going to make pigs with it. And now I have little 2-headed pigs that I get to go bring to work and be like, here's a 2-headed pig. It's great. We're vibing. I also have a pig that is not a pig and is not knitting, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. So this is a frog. I don't know how to sculpt anything, clearly. But I decided last week that I needed a hobby that wasn't knitting. So I picked up some polymer clay and I was like, let me just mess around and find out. So I made a lily pad and then I left it at my friend's house on accident, which sucks because that was like what I wanted. I made a lily pad coaster to like put my drinks on at my desk because I don't have a coaster for my desk. And then I left it at Ashton's house. So now I have a frog that I made with the scraps. And the best part is that he's thick. He's just a meme of thickness. we vibe in. I also made a pair of earrings and then I left them over there and I'm not going to go get them. So that's what we're doing in small tiny objects land. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Let's move on to like normal people finished objects, shall we? I have 2 pairs of socks to show you today. They are both going to my favorite cousin Jack, who is always referred to as my favorite cousin Jack. I have so many cousins. I talk to none of them except Jack. Like, there's nothing wrong with my other cousins. I love them dearly. I haven't talked to them in years. I don't know. Don't see them. They're all like in Indiana. I'm in Massachusetts. Like, I don't. Also, most of them I have age gaps with. Anyway, I have socks. I have 2 socks. They're great. I love them. They're so like rainbow and good and amazing and incredible. Behold, this is the Frankie colorway it's the Felici line from Knit Picks. Frankie for the main color. This is the Rose City roller pattern. I forget the name of the designer. If I can figure out how to edit these videos, I will put the name of the designer on the screen. If you don't see it, you know I failed. So the heel color is the Mysterious Stroll mini skein that I mentioned when I was talking about pigs. At least I think I mentioned it. I hope I mentioned it. I did 20 rounds for the cuff and it's just a rolled edge. I did a standard slip stitch heel, so like heel flap and gusset, and then I did 80 rounds for the foot. I did a square toe and I did the Kitchener stitch. And Jack has mentioned that they don't love the way that the seam feels on Kitchener stitch. So I purposely did it a little bit loose so that you won't feel it. Hopefully they won't feel it as much when they are actually wearing the socks. So hopefully that works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to start turning the socks inside out and then like leaving the seam on the outside. But that's pair of socks number 1 of birthday socks. Sending those out this weekend. The other pair of socks I just finished last night. I'm very excited. Halloween is all year, in case you didn't know. I love these. This is the Sanderson colorway. I almost myself in the face. This is the Sanderson colorway of Felici by Knit Picks, and the contrast color I believe is Red Tail. It's definitely Stroll fingering weight Knit Picks once again. I think it's Red Tail. I'm not sure. I finished these last night. These are my standard pattern for socks. So that is 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing, 30 rounds for the leg, a slip stitch heel, and then I did 80 rounds to fit Jack's foot, and then a square toe. I do 56 stitches around on a size 1 Addy Flexi Flip. That is what works for my fingers. You'll see them when we show works in progress, what those look like. They're basically double pointed needles that have a bend in the middle, and I just find them super convenient. My gauge is really nice on them. When I do size 1, either on a 9-inch circ or on Magic Loop, my gauge is like, I need to go up to 64 stitches per round compared to 56. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you multiply like, you know, those 8 stitches by like 80 rounds or whatever, like that's a lot. That's a whole lot of extra knitting that I would rather not do because I like things to go kind of quickly when I'm knitting things. I want my knitting projects to be like popcorn. I don't do big projects usually. I want projects that take like 2 weeks and then I'm done. And that's just my vibe. Anyway, we're going to move on now. Those are my only finished projects for the week. I have pigs, I have a frog, I have socks. But in works in progress, this is really exciting for the first episode because I get to go through everything I'm making, not just things I've touched recently, which is two different categories, as you will soon see. The first thing I'm going to show you, this is in a project bag that my friend Kaylee made for me. And I love it so much. I love like all things aquatic, and I love like octopus and squid and mermaids. And I love like Kelly green and teal. Those are like my favorite colors. Like there's a reason I have blue hair. It's my favorite. And anyway, I have a sock. This is my sock bag. I always have socks in here. I keep all my sock stuff in there, and all I do is switch out the yarns from one pair to the other. So I literally cast this sock off, walked downstairs, grabbed more yarn, and then started the next sock last night. So look at it. So cute. My goal for like over the summer is to create a whole set of socks that is just stroll tweed, and I'm really excited about it. So this color at the top is North Pole Heather, and then this is Barn Door Heather. This is Stroll Tweed by Knit Picks. I love it. This is my standard pattern, 56 stitches, 10 rounds for the cuff, and then I'll do 30 for the the leg. And then this is these are what the flexi flips look like. So like, you know, they bendy. They bendy, they nice. I love them. I use Raven stitch markers because I usually work in tandem, and I love having two of them because it reminds me of Odin's ravens, and I think that's kind of rad. So that's my sock. And the next project I've been working on is a blanket. My parents gave me a yarn advent last Christmas. It was great. I got to open them all month. I was like, this is wonderful. This is fantastic. It was from the Mermaid's Pearl, which I believe is a store in Rhode Island. I know it's in New England for sure. I have plans to go there at some point this year. I'm really excited about it. I'm obsessed with this advent blanket. I'm like freehanding a pattern. I basically just I'm knitting it on the bias. So I was doing increases until it got as wide as I felt like it. And then I started doing decreases on one side, increases on the other. That makes it rectangle. Every week I add a stitch marker, and then that becomes a slip stitch running on that diagonal line because I think it looks kind of cool. But they're like just basically randomly spaced. And then once it became a rectangle, I stopped doing the slip stitches, and I just add it like when I do enough decreases to pull the marker off, I just move it to the new one. So I've also augmented this because I got 13 mini skeins. That's not really enough for a big blanket. So I'm adding some stroll just in black to either side of it. So it's kind of got this like dark side of the moon vibe going to it. Anyway, I'm having a great time. Please behold me. Perceive the blanket. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. I think it's lovely. I love this project so much. I love the contrast between the like deep dark black and then like pastel rainbow. Like what a vibe. What an energy. Here's where I was the last time I touched this. And now we're here. So we're doing all right. We're doing pretty great. I'm going to move the stitch marker before I forget. Actually, no, I'm not because I want to keep filming. I'm going to throw it on my floor, and I'm going to move the stitch marker later. The next project I want to show for you is a gift for one of my friends who has said, scoffed even, that he's not going to watch my knitting podcast. But I have a feeling that he is. So Jay, if you're watching, look away because I want this to be a surprise. I don't want you to be spoiled. I'm going to give you 5 seconds or something. I'm not actually going to time this. Look away. Don't. I'm serious. Okay. For everyone except Jay, I'm making a tardigrade. You can't tell it's a tardigrade because it doesn't have legs. So it looks like a big poop that was left out all winter on the yard. Like, that's what it looks like. But I promise it's going to be a tardigrade. And it's going to be a tardigrade because that's Jay's favorite animal. Jay is also one of my coworkers. I made him a whole family of tiny flying demon pigs that live on his desk. And when I made him the first one, he was so excited about it. Because of course he is. Like, who's not going to be excited about a flying demon pig? And then I came into his office later and he said, you know, Z, if you added some more legs, you can make a tardigrade. And tardigrades are my favorite animal. And I said, yeah, I could. And then I made him a tardigrade. And it's still on my desk because I like it too much. I'm going to give it to him, I promise, but not yet because I'm enjoying it too much. And I need to finish enjoying it before I give it to him. But in the meantime, his birthday is coming up in June. And I was like, I can make him a full-size tardigrade on size 1 needles. Actually, hold on, please hold. Can you see the difference? I don't know if you can. And this gauge versus this gauge, these are both size 1 needles. Like, it's, I don't know if you can see that on the screen. I hope you can. But it's like, it's a difference. Like, this is so much tighter. Anyway, I am almost done with the body on this. I just need to finish this little hump. And then I think I have to put a butt on it. And then I will like stuff it, cast off the butt, and then I have to make 8 legs. So there's a whole lot left to do. This was, for some reason, I thought this was going to take me like 4 or 5 hours, and I am currently 13 hours into this. So it's great. I'm using the row counter to see how long it takes me to make it, and also to check my pattern. Oh, speaking of patterns, this is a free pattern. This is Steve the Tardigrade. I don't remember the designer name. I am having a great time knitting this. Actually, it's really fun. My favorite thing to do, actually, is to pull up documentaries, like nature documentaries about like the ocean, and then just like knit a tardigrade. Like that's my vibe for this project. It's great. I watched Secrets of the Octopus. I watched Secrets of the Whales. Like, both of those, highly recommend. If you've got Disney Plus, you should be watching those. They're incredible. Anyway, on to the next project we have going on. Is an actual serious project, because I do actual serious knitting sometimes. I have been doing this for 20 years. I have taught knitting classes. I don't take my life seriously because the world is too serious and I just don't see the point. But sometimes I do things for realsies. The next pattern, which I am hoping I will be able to like show on the screen right here maybe, if editing Zenith can figure out their life. It's the circadian cowl. It doesn't look like much yet. It looks like some stripes in a circle. Like it's a tube. But it's gonna look really cool at the end, I promise. I'm really excited for it. I don't have enough of either of these colors to finish it, which means that halfway through knitting this project, I get to pick new colors, and I am both excited for that and dreading it. The main color right now, this is Knit Picks Palette. I don't know what color it is. It's yellow. And then this is Round Mountain Fibers Alder Fingering in Lilac Breasted Roller. And this is a scrap yarn. I made a pair of socks with it earlier this year. They turned out fantastic. And then I still haven't mailed them to my friend. They've been sitting in my car, like packed up, ready to go for 2 weeks because going to the post office is difficult. I don't make the rules. I was like, I think she likes them. I'm like, she doesn't have them. They're in my car. Anyway, I have a nice little mushroom progress keeper on that. And I love it very much. And at some point I will work on this again. I haven't touched it in like 6 weeks maybe. Because life is life. And again, I just want to knit tiny pigs and lots of socks. The next project I have to show you is the one that's been on my needles the longest and will probably also hibernate the longest. Here's the vibe. If you're queer, you stay friends with your exes. And so I stayed friends with my most recent ex last summer, and they work in like technical engineering. They do really cool stuff. And even though we had broken up, we stayed friends, and they were like, hey, do you want a magic mirror? Like, I'll program it for you. And I was like, that's cool as hell. And then I was like, what do you want in exchange? Do you want like a shawl or something? Like, I'll like knit you this. Like, well, we can like barter it out. And they were like, hell yes. And then we both forgot that the other person existed. So I have not talked to this person since the week of the election. But I have this like half knitted shawl for them. So sometimes life be like that. I don't know. So like, is the original recipient I'm trying very hard not to say their name, going to receive this project. I don't know, maybe not. It might go to someone else. I think it's probably going to go to someone else. I'm sorry, my yarn is stuck. However, let me show you this impressive thing. I'm obsessed with this project. I wish that I wore shawls. I wish I wasn't, because I would wear the crap out of that if I was a very different person. But I am not this person. And that makes my life sad, because I love this. Also, if you hold it this way, it kind of looks like a jockstrap, and that's really funny. It looks like it less now because it's like bigger, but like it, for like half of the work that I've done on this, I was like, I'm making a jockstrap for my ex. Oh God. Anyway, this is the Kalara shawl. I don't know if I said that already. I don't remember the designer's name. I will hopefully put it on the screen. I am using 2 different colors from Blue Barn Fiber. Is that right? Am I telling you the truth? I don't know. I know that the darker color, the one that's like this one, the darker color is definitely from Blue Barn Fiber. It is the Raven colorway. And then the lighter color, I don't remember if it's from Blue Barn Fiber or if it's from the fancy yarn that you get in local yarn shops that has Emma in the title. I think it's that. I think I got this at Knitwit, and I was gonna make a different shawl with it and then ultimately decided not to. And now it's in this shawl, which is fine. I think what I'm going to do with this is finish it and put it in my bucket of things that I use for Yule presents. I think that will work best for me. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm kind of like letting it hibernate, just kind of do what it wants to do. I do want to finish it up because the lighter blue color, the electric blue color, I have a different yarn that I want to make socks with, and I want this to be the heel color, and it can't be the heel color if it's still on this project. So, because I would feel real stupid if I'm like, no, I can use the other side of the yarn, and I use it for like contrast cuff heel toe, and then I go to finish this project and I don't have enough of both colors. Like that would really suck. So I have to finish this first, and that's my only motivation for finishing this first. Anyway, those are all my WIPs, and we've already gone over finished projects. We've already done an introduction. Let's talk about some plans going forward. My knitting plans are very easy because I am a simple person and I just want to knit more socks. I knit like a pair every 2 weeks. Sometimes it's 1 pair a week, depending on like whether I remember my other hobbies exist or not. And right now I have 3 yarns picked out that I know I want to make socks with. So I brought them over here to do some show and tell. The first one is from ALC Yarns. This is Glow with the Flow. It is an 8515 superwash merino with nylon. It's the Lush sock blend, and it was their May 2024 color. I don't have a subscription to them or anything. I just saw that they had it for sale, and I said, I want that. I'm going to buy that. So I did, and I'm excited. I think it's going to look great as a nice little pair of socks. I also have picked out, this is from Craftily Dyed Yarn. This is the classic sock. This is Stellar. The thing that I love about Craftily Dyed Yarns is you can get 50 gram skeins. I have smallish feet. I don't need 100 gram skein. That's just scrap management at that point. So I'm going to do, like, if I can buy 50, I'm going to buy 50 instead every time. And that is probably, honestly, why I knit so much with Stroll and with Felici. Not to say that those aren't great yarns. They are great yarns. Stroll is the softest sock base I've ever worked with. And I feel like that's like a hot take, but like, it's so good. Have you worn socks with Stroll? Like, dang. Anyway, the last one that I know I want to knit with soon is this one. This is from Blue Barn Fibers as well. This is the colorway Spruce on Squishy Sock. It is an 85% ultrafine superwash merino, 15% nylon. It does look very similar to this one. There is a theme in my life. Hold on. There is a theme. There's a theme in this life. It's teal. It's green. Good greens. Yes. When I knit socks for myself, I know that I only want to knit socks, so I use an app called Decision Roulette, and I take pictures of all the yarns that I want to knit with soon. And then whenever I finish a pair of socks, I just spin the wheel and it says, knit this one next. And I say, awesome. And I knit that next. So those 3 are going to be on a spinner. I'm going to add some of my Stroll Tweed onto there as well, so I can work on those. Because my goal going into like the next sock season of my life is to have just like a full sock drawer for myself. I tend to knit socks a lot for other people compared to me. So I want to have like I want to be drowning in my own socks because I deserve nice things. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I also have some friends with birthdays coming up, not too soon, but like June. And I have been crafting long enough and have been burned by my own crafting long enough to know that like having like a 3-month leeway on projects works. So I'm going to set up a second spinner that's like socks for other people. I don't have the yarns all picked out yet. And also I feel like most of the people who are going to get socks are going to be watching this podcast. So y'all aren't going to get spoiled. Or maybe you will. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to pick those out. I'm going to do 2 spinners. So I'm going to have a spinner for like gifts I need to make soon. And then I'm going to do socks for me. And I'm just going to alternate socks for me, socks for somebody else. I also made a deal with one of my knitting friends recently, which I'm very excited about. I am friends with someone named Jen, and she loves to knit sweaters. She loves to knit sweaters the way that I love to knit socks. And so she said at one point, you know, I would love to have hand knit socks, and I just absolutely am not going to make them myself. And I said, I have a question for you. How many socks are a sweater to you? And she said, that's a great question. And by the end of the conversation, we had decided it's 5 pairs. So she is going to knit me a V-neck boxy. I have drop shipped the yarn to her straight from Knit Picks. It's going to be a Stroll because, of course, I want a sweater in Stroll. It's like super soft. It's super nice, and it's not going to be really hot. I move around a lot at work. Again, I worked in factory, so like I don't need a worsted weight sweater. And in exchange, she's going to mail me some of her fingering weight yarn that has never become socks, and I'm going to turn it into socks and mail it back to her. So she's in Ohio. I should mention that. So yeah, I'm going to knit her 5 pairs of socks. I know that is coming, and so I'm trying to get like my June stuff figured out so that once that yarn arrives, I can kind of like prioritize that, get it done, not forget that I'm doing the thing, and then mail it back to her. So those are my projects coming up. And yeah, I think that's all I have for now. I'm trying to think if I have any lifey stuff. Lifey stuff. The Boston Fleet won their last 2 games. That's really exciting. What else is there? It's been a chill week here. Spring is springing. Today is Ostara. I'm going to celebrate here in a little bit. I'm going to clean off my altar and reset it. I recently bought a statue of one of my favorite deities that I'm like really excited to like officially unpack and like put on display and have in my room. I think it's gonna be really nice. And oh yeah, I like to like read. So right now I'm reading through like an old comic series from the early 2000s, Why the Last Man by Brian Vaughan. I'm enjoying it. I didn't really like the first volume. The second volume slaps. I have all 10 on my floor from the library because libraries are awesome. And I'm hopefully going to read some of those soon, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I think that's all I've got for this week. If you've stayed till the end, you're the MVP. You're awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting me. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that I didn't bore you to death or something. Yeah, leave a comment if you like this and you want to support me because my ego is fragile or something. Anyway, that's all I got. Have a great day. Have a whimsical day, even. And I'll see you next time. Bye!